Understanding Cloud Deployment Models. About this course. Welcome to the Understanding Cloud Deployment Models course. In this course, you'll learn about modern mainframe computers and how hosting and infrastructure can be on premises or in the cloud. You'll explore the steps businesses take to decide, plan, and make the move to the cloud. You'll learn about different cloud deployment models and the advantages they bring businesses. And finally, you'll explore some scenarios to better understand when a public, private, or hybrid cloud deployment is appropriate for a business. Prerequisites. Before starting this course, you will need knowledge of the basics of computer networking, the ways cloud computing differs from traditional computing, different cloud service models, data centers and how they function in a cloud environment. You can gain this knowledge by completing the Introduction to Cloud Computing and Understanding Cloud Computing Services courses in the Cloud Computing Fundamentals Learning Plan. Learning objectives. After completing this course, you should be able to describe the features of on-premises hosting, identify considerations when moving to the cloud, describe cloud migration plans, steps to deploy to the cloud, and solution optimization. Explain the advantages of public, private, and hybrid cloud solutions. Identify considerations and situations for public, private, and hybrid cloud deployment models. About this module. Module 1. Infrastructure hosted on premises. Introduction. In this module, you'll learn about the progression from early computers to modern mainframes. You'll also learn about the benefits businesses can expect using on-premises hosting to run their daily operations and the steps to set this up. Then, you'll explore why businesses decide to migrate their infrastructure to the cloud and the steps to set this up. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you should be able to identify the limitations of early computers, describe the features and benefits of modern mainframes, describe the features and benefits of on-premises hosting, identify the typical steps to set up an on-premises data center, identify reasons businesses migrate to the cloud, identify the overall steps to migrate from on-premises hosting to the cloud. Early modern computers. Like all sophisticated technology, computer technology evolved from basic electronic devices. In the early days, computers were about as rare and amazing as the African elephant has become. They were large and relatively hard to find. The earliest modern computers were the size of an entire room. They mainly focused on solving a single set of problems. The IBM Harvard Mark I weighed 5 tons and was 50 feet long. Engineers programmed it using paper tape, cards, and a typewriter. Its purpose was to quickly perform mathematical and algebraic calculations. The result of these calculations went to the user in the form of more paper tape or cards. These early computers had design and functional limitations, mainly because of the types of interfaces users needed to work with them. An interface enables you to give data to the computer and get data from the computer. Early computer interfaces were limited to paper tape and punch cards. Mainframe computers. As technology progressed, mainframe computers and terminals arrived on the tech scene. The move from paper tape to screens and keyboards was revolutionary. Today, many interfaces are available, including touch screens, microphones and speakers, keyboards, and touchpads. Because users could view the output from calculations on a screen, a computer lab could connect multiple terminals to the same computer. Operators could enter data on a keyboard at a terminal and see the result on their screen, while sharing time on the same computer. This type of computer is a mainframe. Mainframes get their name from the large frame of the cabinet that housed these early computers. A mainframe is a central computer that does all the thinking, or processing, and sends the result to the dumb terminal. Modern mainframes. Who uses mainframes? Just about everyone has used a mainframe computer at one point or another. If you ever used an automated teller machine, ATM, to interact with your bank account, you've used a mainframe. Today, large organizations use mainframes to process large amounts of data. Companies use mainframes to process billions of real-time calculations and web transactions every day. Keep track of essential financial transactions like customer billing and employee payroll information. Keep information safe and secure. For example, IBM modern mainframe computers provide high performance and reliability in large-scale computing environments. They can support the heavy workloads of cloud computing data centers and hybrid clouds. Select each section to learn more about the features of modern mainframe computers. High processing power. Mainframes have powerful processors that can quickly handle large amounts of data and transactions. Some configurations have a built-in AI processing chip to enable artificial intelligence (AI) scenarios without additional hardware. High availability. Mainframes are designed to serve users' needs with little to no downtime. They use features like redundant components and advanced electronics that deal with errors and other problems that might cause the system to fail. Virtualization. Mainframes can run multiple operating systems and applications simultaneously in virtualized environments. This makes them very efficient machines. Security. Mainframes include advanced security features, such as encryption, authentication, and access control to protect sensitive data. Scalability. Mainframes can scale to handle growing workloads with the ability to add processing power, storage capacity, and other resources as needed. Integration. Mainframes can work with other systems and platforms to allow for easy sharing of data and smooth interaction between different applications. Management. Mainframes come with sophisticated management tools and automation capabilities to simplify administration and maintenance of the system. Modern mainframes power some of the most complex and demanding workloads on the cloud. But mainframes have uses beyond the data centers that cloud providers host. Businesses running their own data centers also use them. Hosting infrastructure on premises. Before the cloud became mainstream, businesses owned and operated their own infrastructure. This included the hardware, like mainframes, and the software. This is called on-premises hosting. Everything a business needs to run their daily operations is on the premises of the business. In a sense, these self-hosted computer systems are private data centers. On-premises hosting includes some of the following features. Environmental controls. On-premises data centers require large amounts of electricity to power hardware. They use sophisticated cooling systems to maintain the proper temperature and humidity levels. Physical security. On-premises data centers are designed to be highly secure. They use measures such as security cameras, access control systems, and biometric authentication to prevent unauthorized physical access. Storage systems. Most servers include some local storage capability as well as networked storage for multiple servers to use. Network connectivity. Like any data center, on-premises data centers must connect to high-speed, reliable networks to enable the transfer of data between hardware, software, and users. Redundancy and disaster recovery. To ensure maximum uptime and reliability, on-premises data centers often include redundant power and cooling systems, backup generators, and multiple network connections. What are the benefits of an on-premises data center? Hosting servers on premises can be good for businesses that require high levels of security and data privacy. They have complete control over their infrastructure and can implement their own security protocols. On-premises hosting is also more cost-effective in the long run for businesses that have large amounts of data to store and process. This is because there are no ongoing costs associated with renting server capacity from a third-party provider. Hosting servers on premises allows businesses to customize hardware and software to meet their specific needs. Businesses have complete control over their infrastructure. Also, if businesses are subject to industry-specific regulations or compliance requirements, they can ensure that they are compliant by hosting servers on premises. Setting up an on-premises data center. Businesses have several decisions to make when they decide to host on premises. Let's follow a business on its journey. These are the typical steps to set up an on-premises data center. Notice the decisions the business must make. Step 1. Determine the hardware requirements. Icon representing hardware. The business decides what hardware resources such as servers, storage, and networking equipment they need to host the servers and software on premises. Their decisions in this step depend on what work they need their data center to accomplish. Step 2. Choose the software. Icon representing software. The business chooses the operating system and other software components that will run on the hardware. These can include database software, application servers, web servers, and other software that will make the data center operate. They also need to decide whether they will use software they write or buy, or if they will use open source software, or a blend of both. Step 3. Install and configure the software. Icon representing installing software. After getting the hardware and software, the business installs and configures the software according to the business's requirements. This includes setting up user accounts, security settings, and other system settings. Step 4. Connect to the network. Icon representing a network. The business connects the servers and software to the business's network so that users can access the services. The business also determines if and how the data center will connect to the internet and the policies that will govern that connectivity. Step 5. Implement backup and disaster recovery. Icon representing backup and recovery. The business implements a backup and disaster recovery plan to ensure that they don't lose data and services in the event of a hardware failure, natural disaster, or other catastrophic events. Step 6. Maintain and upgrade. Icon representing maintenance. The business maintains and upgrades the hardware and software over time to ensure that it remains secure and up to date with the latest patches and features. Step 7. Add innovative services. Icon representing services. To take advantage of new technology like AI or blockchain, the business can build or buy additional services, and then maintain those services. Migrating to the cloud. Diagram showing infrastructure, data, and services on premises on the left and then moving these items to the cloud on the right. On-premises infrastructure, storage, data, services, and more are moving to the cloud. Some businesses need or choose to build their infrastructure on premises. But many that started out on premises are choosing to migrate to the cloud. Review these various reasons why businesses might choose to migrate their on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. The cloud offers businesses the flexibility to scale their infrastructure up or down quickly without having to make significant financial investments in new hardware. This can help companies to adapt to changes in demand or accommodate growth more efficiently. Because businesses can pay for only the resources they use on a subscription basis, using the cloud can lead to cost savings over time. They don't need to purchase and maintain their own hardware. Businesses can access a range of services and resources that they can customize to meet specific needs. Cloud providers also typically invest more heavily in security measures, such as encryption and monitoring, than businesses can on their own. Cloud providers have robust disaster recovery capabilities, including backups and redundancy. This can help businesses recover from unexpected downtime or data loss. Cloud providers often offer access to new technologies, such as machine learning and AI. These might be too expensive or challenging for businesses to implement on their own. Once businesses choose to migrate to the cloud, they begin the process of moving from on-premises hosting to cloud deployment. Explore these overall steps when a business moves from an on-premises infrastructure to a cloud-managed infrastructure. Assess current infrastructure. The business needs to determine what hardware, software, and services are currently being used on premises and how they are being utilized. Numbered divider 2. Choose a cloud provider. The business needs to research and choose a cloud provider that meets its needs and requirements. Numbered divider 3. Plan the migration. The business needs to develop a plan for migrating its data and services to the cloud. This should include a timeline and contingency plan. Numbered divider 4. Migrate data. The business needs to move its data to the cloud. This can involve transferring data to the cloud provider's storage system or using a migration tool to copy data over. Numbered divider 5. Configure cloud services. The business needs to configure the cloud services it will use, such as virtual machines, databases, and storage. Numbered divider 6. Test and validate. The business needs to test and validate the cloud environment to ensure that it is working as expected and that data is being accessed and stored correctly. Numbered divider 7. Transition to the cloud. Once the cloud environment is validated and tested, the business can transition to using the cloud environment for its data and services. Decommission on-premises hardware. After the transition to the cloud is complete, the business can decommission its on-premises hardware, including servers and storage. You can see it's an involved, organized, and thoughtful process to migrate business operations to the cloud. A hybrid approach. Although there are many valid reasons for hosting a data center on-premises or moving entirely to the cloud, many businesses are choosing a hybrid approach. This means a business will host some hardware and software on-premises and use the cloud for many other services. Businesses partner with cloud providers to enable a hybrid cloud scenario. This gives them on-premises power and security along with many services and advanced capabilities the cloud provides. By using a mainframe along with cloud computing, a business can process large amounts of data stored on-premises across a hybrid cloud platform. They can also use AI to scale and automate data-driven insights. A hybrid approach enables a business to quickly process critical apps and data in real time, while assessing security risks. About this module. Module 2. What is cloud deployment? Introduction. In this module, you'll learn about factors to consider when businesses decide to move to cloud services and choose a cloud provider. You'll also learn about cloud migration plans, and how they can ensure a smooth transition to cloud hosting. You'll explore the process of deploying to cloud services. And you'll learn about the importance of monitoring and optimizing cloud services. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you should be able to identify considerations when deciding to move to cloud services. Identify considerations when choosing a cloud provider. Identify important tasks to include in a cloud migration plan. Identify the overall steps to migrate from on-premises hosting to the cloud. Describe the cloud deployment process. Describe methods to optimize a cloud solution. Moving to the cloud. As cloud services are becoming the norm in business, businesses have shifted from wondering if they should adopt cloud services to deciding how they will. As many businesses move their infrastructure to the cloud, they are even considering moving to multiple clouds to diversify their operations. Deciding about cloud services. Before businesses can choose a cloud provider, they need to determine which cloud services they want and need. Choosing the right cloud services depends on various factors such as the business's specific needs, requirements, goals, and budget. Business needs. Companies identify business needs that the cloud can help meet. Some common needs include scalable storage, collaboration tools, data analytics, security. The company must prioritize their needs and find cloud services that meet their requirements. Scalability. As the business grows, cloud services should be scalable enough to support growth. Companies need to evaluate the cloud services' scalability before deciding on one. Security. Companies must choose cloud services that have robust security measures in place to protect data from unauthorized access, hacking, and data breaches. Integration. Cloud services should integrate well with a business's existing software and hardware systems. This integration ensures a seamless workflow and easier data transfer. Choosing a provider. Services aren't the only consideration. Businesses must also look at the cloud providers to ensure they are able to meet all their needs and requirements. Cost-effective. Cloud services come with different pricing structures, so businesses must consider their budget when choosing a cloud provider. Businesses must perform a cost-benefit analysis to determine the most cost-effective cloud services. Reliable and reputable. Cloud providers must have a high availability of their services and an excellent reputation in the industry. The reliability of a cloud service can impact the company's productivity and revenue. Support system. The cloud services provider must have an efficient customer support system that can offer quick solutions to any technical issues. A man wears a headset while using a mouse and desktop computer at a table with other employees. Reflection: what do you think? What are some other technical or personnel considerations you can think of that a business should consider when moving their infrastructure to the cloud? Enter your response in the provided text box. Writing an answer is a good way to process your thoughts. These answers are for your use only. You have the option to download your response and save it. It will not be saved in the text box when you move on in the course. Evaluate your thinking. Does your answer account for the following? Training. When a business moves from an on-premises infrastructure to the cloud, their staff and technicians will need training on how to use the cloud-based systems. Managing change. Cloud infrastructure and services are evolving continually. Unexpected changes can negatively impact a business, and businesses need to ensure their cloud provider will enable them to manage changes. Similarly, businesses can benefit from updates or new services and need to have a plan for how they might want to integrate with updates. You can conclude there are a range of factors that go into deciding about a move for some or all business operations to the cloud. It's a big shift in modern computing. The cloud is becoming more common and critical to businesses across the world. According to predictions, the global cloud computing market size is expected to grow from $446.51 billion in 2022 to $1,614.10 billion by 2030. Planning for a cloud migration. Let's walk through a scenario. Imagine you work for a company that decided to migrate from an on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. You're on an information technology (IT) team that is responsible for developing the details of the migration plan. The company runs most of its operations from its on-premises data center. You need to ensure the transition happens smoothly and without interrupting the business. The executive staff wants to move as much of the current infrastructure as possible to the cloud to help reduce costs. Take advantage of all the cloud has to offer. Your cloud migration plan needs to include the following important tasks to ensure a smooth transition to the cloud. Take some time to review them now. Assess the current infrastructure. You begin with an evaluation of the company's current IT infrastructure. You identify which systems, applications, and data you want to move to the cloud. The evaluation will help the business decide whether to move all systems at once, or use a phased approach. Identify the right cloud provider. You research different cloud providers to identify which one will best meet the company's needs. You consider factors such as security, cost, scalability, and availability. Choose the right cloud services. You choose which cloud services your business needs, such as infrastructure as a service, IaaS, platform as a service, PaaS, or software as a service, SaaS. Your migration plan provides the rationale for the appropriate service that suits the requirements of the business. Plan for resources. You plan which resources the business will need to migrate and sustain after the migration is complete. A cloud deployment needs continual investment, and a resource plan should account for that. Develop a migration strategy. You include in your plan a detailed, step-by-step process for the migration. The process includes timelines, resources, and potential risks. Train the IT team. You complete your migration plan by training your IT team. Before the migration, the team should be familiar with the cloud provider's console, deployment strategies, and other relevant services. This will ensure that your team is trained on cloud technologies and security best practices. Making the move. Now that you have your plan ready, you can start the migration. You'll use your migration plan to assign tasks to people on your team so they can begin moving data and systems to the cloud. Keep in mind that you might have to adjust your plan and adapt to situations that don't go as you planned. Let's review the steps your team will perform to migrate the business from an on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. Migrate the company data and applications to the cloud by starting to transfer information to the new cloud service provider. 2. Validate and test the migrated system to ensure that it works as expected and that there are no gaps or data loss in the migration process. 3. Monitor the cloud infrastructure to identify and fix any issues and optimize it for performance. 4. Decommission on-premises infrastructure once the migration is complete and the cloud infrastructure is operational. 5. Evaluate and optimize the new cloud infrastructure for cost, performance, and security regularly. Most major cloud providers have tools and checklists that businesses can use before and during a migration. For instance, the following 6 R's are a helpful way to remember essential parts of a strategy to ensure a successful cloud service migration. Rehost. Identify any cloud-based systems the business already uses, and the systems that must be cloned and moved to the new cloud provider. Replatform. Determine the systems that must be optimized to work more efficiently, save money, and improve security. Refactor. Identify applications and services that benefit from cloud capabilities and make appropriate changes to the applications. Repurchase. Move or replace systems from one service to another, such as from perpetual licenses to SaaS vendors, by repurchasing some more affordable or cost-effective services. Retire. Determine which applications that the business doesn't need anymore and should be turned off or retired. Retain. Identify and retain applications that cannot be migrated for some reason. Source: How to Migrate to the Cloud, a step-by-step guide, opens in a new tab. Forbes, by Evgeny Altenpera, April 2021. Explore more. Check out these resources from cloud service providers for migrations. What is cloud migration? Opens in a new tab, by IBM to learn about a cloud migration plan and managing a successful migration. Build migration plan with Azure Migrate, opens in a new tab, by Microsoft to learn about planning a cloud migration with Microsoft Azure Migrate. Migrate workloads to the public cloud, an essential guide and checklist, opens in a new tab, by Google Cloud to access a helpful guide of best practices for a phased migration. The migration process, opens in a new tab, by Amazon Web Services, AWS, to learn about a phased migration process. Deploying the infrastructure and applications to the cloud. To deploy to the cloud means to migrate or create and configure a set of computing resources, applications, services, and databases in a cloud environment. The cloud environment could be IBM Cloud, Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, GCP. Deployment involves the creation of virtual machines, VMS, storage, network configurations, security settings, and other resources required to run applications, services, or databases in the cloud. Select each marker, plus, in sequential order on the following diagram to reveal the description of each step to deploy to the cloud. Step 1. Design the architecture. Design the cloud infrastructure, including the virtual network, security groups, storage accounts, and compute resources. This step involves determining the size and configuration of the infrastructure based on the business requirements. Step 2. Configure security. Configure security settings, such as firewalls and access control lists, ACLS, to ensure the infrastructure is secure and protected from unauthorized access. Step 3. Create virtual machines and containers. Create a virtualized environment using virtual machines, VMS, and containers. These host applications, services, or databases. This involves selecting the appropriate operating system and application software as well as configuring network settings. Step 4. Set up storage. Configure storage options, such as object storage or block storage, to provide storage for data and applications. Step 5. Configure network settings. Configure network settings, such as subnets, virtual private networks, VPNs, and load balancers, to ensure that the infrastructure is accessible and highly available. Step 6. Deploy applications. Deploy applications, services, or databases to the cloud infrastructure. This might involve migrating data from on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. Step 7. Test and validate infrastructure. Test and validate the infrastructure and applications to ensure they are working as expected and meeting the business requirements. Step 8. Monitor and manage the infrastructure. Monitor the infrastructure and applications for performance and security issues and manage the infrastructure to ensure that it is optimized for performance, cost, and scalability. Optimizing a solution. Adopting a pet is a full-time job. Pet owners must give their pet regular attention and monitor and adjust to the needs of their pet. Without this regular attention, adjustments, and modifications, the pet will not thrive. A cloud solution is similar. It requires regular attention, including monitoring, adjustments, and care. Deploying a solution to the cloud is just the beginning. Like a pet who is well cared for, a cloud solution will thrive with continual monitoring and attention. It's critical for businesses to monitor metrics and optimize performance to ensure their cloud solution is efficient, reliable, meeting performance goals, cost-effective. Here's a list of ways that businesses ensure their cloud solutions are optimized. Set performance goals for the cloud infrastructure and applications. This includes response time, throughput, and availability goals. They provide a benchmark for measuring performance to find areas for improvement. Use monitoring tools to track the performance of the cloud infrastructure and applications. Cloud providers typically offer monitoring tools that businesses can use to track performance metrics such as CPU usage, memory usage, network traffic, and storage utilization. Identify performance bottlenecks in the cloud infrastructure and applications. Issues such as network congestion, insufficient resources, or inefficient code can all cause performance bottlenecks. Adjust the cloud infrastructure and implement performance optimizations to improve the performance of the cloud infrastructure and applications, based on performance metrics. Continuously monitor and optimize performance to adjust the cloud infrastructure and applications as needed to optimize performance and meet goals. Without continual monitoring and optimization, cloud solutions can become slow and unreliable and fail to meet a business's requirements. About this module. Module 3. Cloud Deployment Models. Introduction. In this module, you'll learn about different types of cloud deployment models. You'll also learn about the differences between public and private cloud solutions. And you'll discover the advantages of a hybrid cloud deployment and explore the ways hybrid cloud models can improve business. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you should be able to identify 4 cloud deployment models. Explain the advantages of a public cloud solution. Explain the advantages of a private cloud solution. Explain the advantages of a hybrid cloud solution. Deployment models. The cloud presents businesses with exciting and innovative opportunities. A business might have invested in hardware and services that go unused during slower times or are overburdened during heavy usage. The cloud gives these businesses the opportunity to scale their infrastructure based on need. Scaling can save money and provide a much better user experience for their customers. Cloud-based innovations like artificial intelligence, AI, blockchain, and virtualization give companies technologies such as image recognition, chatbots, and recommendation systems. Without the cloud, these technologies would be inaccessible because of the computing and storage power needed to run them. Many businesses are moving their infrastructure to the cloud in diverse ways. Some companies need to keep their infrastructure private because of security and data privacy concerns. Others have legacy systems that can run best on hardware that the company already owns, but they want to move other systems to the cloud. The cloud provides different ways businesses can deploy their infrastructure to the cloud to meet their various needs. Cloud deployment models are the ways that cloud computing services are delivered and hosted. The 4 main types of cloud deployment models are public, private, hybrid, and community. Select each tab to learn about each cloud deployment model. Public cloud. A cloud deployment model where resources are available to anyone over the Internet. The service provider owns and manages the infrastructure, software, and security of the cloud. Public clouds are typically cheaper and more scalable than other models, but they might have less control and customization options for users. Public clouds are well suited for businesses and individuals that want to use open-source software without modifying it. Private cloud. A cloud deployment model that is dedicated to a single organization or group of users. The service provider or the organization itself owns and manages the infrastructure, services, and security of the cloud. Private clouds are typically more expensive and less scalable than public clouds, but they offer more control and customization options. Hybrid cloud. A cloud deployment model that combines public and private clouds. The service provider or the organization can choose which resources and applications to run on each cloud based on their needs and preferences. Hybrid clouds are typically more flexible and efficient than other models, but they can have more complexity and security challenges. Community cloud. A cloud deployment model where resources are shared by a group of organizations or users with common goals or interests. The service provider or one of the organizations owns and manages the infrastructure, services, and security of the cloud. Community clouds are typically more cost-effective and collaborative than other models, but they might have less scalability and availability. Because hybrid clouds are a combination of public and private clouds, understanding how both public and private clouds work will help you understand how hybrid clouds work. Let's explore this in more depth. Private and public clouds. One of the main factors that influence a company's decision to choose a public or a private cloud is the level of control and security they need over their data and applications. A public cloud offers lower costs, scalability, and flexibility. But the company must share resources and infrastructure with other customers, which might pose some risks or limitations. A cloud containing a padlock. A private cloud offers more customization, privacy, and compliance. But it also requires more investment, maintenance, and expertise. Depending on their business goals, budget, and industry regulations, a company will opt for one or the other cloud model. Each model will be attractive to different businesses. In the following scenarios, you'll explore the stories of two companies and why they each chose a different cloud deployment model. Scenario 1. Choosing a public cloud. Company A is a startup that provides an online platform for freelancers and clients to connect and collaborate on various projects. Company A decides to use a public cloud for its cloud computing needs because it wants to. Woman sitting at a table and writing at a home office. Launch its platform quickly and easily without having to invest in expensive hardware or software. Scale up or down its resources according to the demand and traffic fluctuations of its platform. Pay only for the resources it uses and avoid unnecessary costs. Access a variety of cloud services and features from different providers to enhance its platform functionality and user experience. Focus on its core business activities and innovation rather than managing or maintaining the cloud infrastructure. Use mainly open-source software for its customer-facing and infrastructure software needs. Company A can leverage the benefits of public cloud to grow its platform rapidly and successfully. It can reach a large number of freelancers and clients across the globe and offer them a reliable, secure, and convenient platform for their project needs. Scenario 2. Choosing a private cloud. Company B is a bank that provides financial services to its customers. Company B decides to use a private cloud for its cloud computing needs because it wants to. Man showing work on his laptop to a woman. Protect its sensitive data and transactions from unauthorized access or breaches. Comply with the strict regulations and standards of the financial industry. Customize its cloud services and resources to meet its specific business needs and goals. Have more control and visibility over its cloud infrastructure and performance. Reduce the risk of downtime or service disruptions due to external factors like local power outages. Company B can leverage the benefits of private cloud and improve its operational efficiency and customer satisfaction. It can store and process its data securely and privately within its own network. And it can optimize its cloud services and resources to deliver faster, smoother, and more personalized financial services to its customers. You can conclude that public cloud and private cloud are two different types of cloud deployment models that offer different benefits and challenges to their users. Depending on their business needs, preferences and budget, customers can choose the most suitable cloud deployment model for their cloud computing needs. Take a moment to check what you've learned so far about private and public clouds. The hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud deployment is a way of using different types of cloud services together to achieve the best results for a business. For example, a company might use a private cloud for sensitive data and applications, a public cloud for scalable and cost-effective resources, a third-party cloud for specialized services. A hybrid cloud deployment requires careful planning and management to ensure compatibility, security, and performance across different environments. And a hybrid cloud deployment can offer great advantages to businesses, such as more flexibility and control over their data and applications, access to a wider range of features and benefits from different cloud providers. IBM use case for hybrid cloud. IBM is a provider of hybrid cloud solutions. IBM realized that they could benefit from using hybrid cloud application themselves to better manage their sales cycle. By using the hybrid cloud, IBM is able to save themselves and their partners time and money. Introduction. The IBM hybrid cloud deployment required careful planning and management to ensure compatibility, security, and performance across different environments. Explore the following use case to learn more about how IBM developed this solution using hybrid cloud. Step 1. Identify the sales funnel. The IBM sales process involves managing deals through numerous stages. IBM identified each stage, such as creating a quote, designing solutions, pricing, and financing, preparing and negotiating contracts, submitting and managing orders, and collecting revenue. Step 2. Analyze the challenge. IBM had different tools and processes in different geographies. This made it hard for sellers to know where to go when they needed support or how to monitor the status of their support requests. Support staff also lacked a robust way to communicate with sellers or ask for more information. This could lead to delays in transaction processing. And it was difficult for the leadership team to gain an overview of the sales support requests, which is vital for making informed decisions. Step 3. Use the hybrid cloud. A team worked to build a hybrid cloud application to address the problems. IBM Cloud Solutions were able to provide the flexibility needed to support all the requirements of the new application. And the software could be deployed using a hybrid cloud model, which helped reduce operational IT costs. Step 4. Comply and save time. The team used IBM Cloud Services to set up 2 database instances for storing data relating to US and EU deals, one based in Dallas, TX, and the other in the United Kingdom. This setup allowed IBM to comply with US federal and European Union regulations that mandated data relating to US and EU deals needed to reside in data centers within those territories. This process would have taken weeks with an on-premises infrastructure. Step 5. Manage transactional data. The team used IBM Cloud Data Solutions to store and manage configurations, user profile settings, data form elements and some less sensitive transactional data. They used other cloud services for content management features such as metadata search and file-level security. The team chose these solutions because they are scalable, flexible, and easy to use. Step 6. Set up 2 cloud environments. The solution used 2 different cloud environments from IBM Cloud. One is public and accessible via the Internet for business partners outside of IBM. The other is private and has some extra features for internal IBM users. Both environments connect to various databases and services from IBM and other providers. Summary. The IBM hybrid cloud solution led to great results for the company. IBM estimates they and their partners saved $2.7 million in the first year, reduced overall costs by 22%, and reduced many hours of administrative work. Source: Client and Partner Stories, opens in a new tab, IBM, June 2017. How many businesses are using a hybrid cloud? Check out the following diagram and findings. In a recent report, researchers found that all businesses are using at least one cloud. And 80% of businesses are using hybrid cloud. The cloud is very flexible. Businesses find a cloud deployment model that works for them. Whether a company chooses to deploy their entire infrastructure to the cloud or move just a single service, the number of businesses moving to the cloud is growing. If you're knowledgeable about cloud computing, then this could present interesting job opportunities to consider. About this module. Module 4. Choosing an appropriate deployment model. Introduction. In this module, you'll learn about what motivates businesses to choose a specific cloud deployment model. You'll explore some examples of public, private, and hybrid cloud deployments and discover when each is appropriate. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you should be able to identify considerations and situations when it's appropriate for a business to select a public cloud deployment model, private cloud deployment model, hybrid cloud deployment model. Which model is the best match? Having different cloud deployment model options is an advantage to businesses because they can pick the deployment option that best suits their needs. For example, a business might choose a private deployment that isolates their cloud infrastructure from others, a public deployment that shares infrastructure resources, like physical hardware and networking, but not data, with other users, a community deployment where businesses pool resources and share them among a specific set of companies, a hybrid model that is a combination of public and private deployments. With so many options available, it can be challenging for businesses to know what option will best meet their needs. Explore the following scenarios to learn more about how businesses choose an appropriate deployment model. Choosing a public cloud deployment. A public cloud deployment is a type of cloud computing service where a provider offers resources over the Internet to multiple customers. These resources might include servers, storage, networking, software, and applications. A business would choose to use a public cloud deployment when they want to benefit from the scalability, flexibility, cost efficiency, and reliability of the cloud without having to invest in or manage its own infrastructure. The following considerations describe situations when a business would choose the public cloud over a private or hybrid approach. Time considerations. The business needs to launch a new product or service quickly and does not have the time or resources to set up its own infrastructure. The public cloud allows the business to deploy an infrastructure relatively quickly with fewer IT resources from within the company. Application considerations. The business doesn't have legacy or proprietary applications that require a specialized infrastructure to run. While the public cloud can be configured for a variety of application scenarios, it's best suited for applications that don't have many dependencies on very specialized hardware and network configurations. Cost considerations. The business wants to leverage the expertise and innovation of the cloud provider without having to hire IT personnel to manage every detail of their infrastructure. Data considerations. The business does not have sensitive or regulated data that requires a high level of control or compliance. The public cloud is ideal for data that needs to be kept secure but doesn't require full visibility and control of the infrastructure that manages it. Here's a quick example about choosing a public cloud. A media company that produces online content chooses to use a public cloud to host its website, store its files, stream its videos, and run its analytics. The public cloud provides the media company with fast and reliable delivery of its content to a global audience. And it provides access to advanced tools for creating, editing, and analyzing its content. The media company also save money because they don't need to purchase and maintain their own servers and software. Choosing a private cloud deployment. A private cloud deployment is a type of cloud computing where the cloud infrastructure and services are dedicated to a single organization or customer. Unlike a public cloud, where multiple customers share the same resources and services, a private cloud offers more control, security, and customization for the organization. A business would choose to use a private cloud deployment when they have specific requirements, compliance regulations, or preferences that cannot be met by a public or hybrid cloud approach. A private cloud can be hosted on-premises or off-premises by a third-party provider like Amazon, IBM, or Microsoft. Review each of the following requirements that can lead businesses to deploying to a private cloud instead of using a public cloud or hybrid model. High security and compliance needs. A private cloud can offer the business more protection for sensitive or confidential data and applications. It also helps the business to meet specific regulatory or industry standards. High performance and availability needs. A private cloud can offer the business more reliability and scalability for mission-critical or demanding workloads. It also helps the business to reduce latency and network congestion. High customization and integration needs. A private cloud can offer the business more flexibility and control over the configuration and management of the cloud infrastructure and services. It also helps the business to integrate with existing systems and applications. Keep in mind a private cloud deployment can have some drawbacks compared to a public or hybrid cloud approach, such as higher costs, complexity, and maintenance. However, for some businesses, the benefits of having a dedicated and tailored cloud environment will outweigh the challenges. Check out the following examples where each requirement you just learned about is met on a private cloud. High security and compliance. A financial institution can use a private cloud to store and process customer data and transactions, while complying with banking regulations and audits. High performance and availability. A gaming company can use a private cloud to host and deliver its online games, while ensuring high-quality user experience and minimizing downtime. High customization and integration. A manufacturing company can use a private cloud to run its own software and hardware platforms, while integrating with its legacy systems and processes. Reflection: what do you think? What are other considerations you can think of that a business should keep in mind when choosing a public or private cloud? Evaluate your thinking. Does your answer account for the following? Staffing. When deploying to a private cloud, does a business have access to enough technical talent to ensure their deployment can be successful? Long-term needs. A business that starts with the public cloud might need a private cloud as the business grows and develops. Businesses should think about their future, and how a public cloud deployment can evolve more easily into a private cloud if they need it later. Choosing a hybrid cloud deployment. A hybrid cloud deployment is a mixed computing environment where applications are run using a combination of computing, storage, and services in different environments, public clouds and private clouds. This includes on-premises data centers or edge locations. Edge computing is a way of processing data closer to where it is generated or used, instead of sending it to a central server or cloud. A business would choose to use a hybrid cloud deployment when they need to mix and match environments to get what works best for their specific applications and data. Several considerations can lead a business to choose to deploy a hybrid cloud. Reduce costs. A hybrid cloud deployment can help a business optimize its spending by using public cloud services for less sensitive or less critical workloads. Private cloud services for more sensitive or more critical workloads. The business can avoid paying for unnecessary resources or security measures that they don't need for every workload. Minimize risk. A hybrid cloud deployment can help a business mitigate the risks of data breaches, compliance violations, or service outages. It does this by keeping some data and applications in a private cloud or on-premises environment that is under its own control and governance. This means the business can ensure that its data and applications are protected by its own security policies and standards, and that it can access them even if the public cloud provider faces any issues. Extend capabilities. A hybrid cloud deployment can help a business leverage the benefits of both public cloud and private cloud services. Benefits such as scalability, agility, innovation, and performance. For example, a hybrid cloud deployment can enable a business to scale up or down its resources on demand, Access new features and services from public cloud providers. Modernize its on-premises infrastructure with private cloud solutions. Extend its compute and AI capabilities. Industries that have a diverse customer base benefit from hybrid cloud models because companies can pick and choose what services work best for them. Select each marker, plus, on the following diagram to learn about 3 industries where a hybrid cloud is a good solution. Healthcare providers often use hybrid cloud deployments to store and process sensitive patient data in a private cloud or on-premises environment. And they use public cloud services for analytics, AI, or telemedicine applications that require more scalability and flexibility. Financial institutions often use hybrid cloud deployments to comply with strict regulations and security standards for their financial data and transactions in a private cloud or on-premises environment. They then take advantage of the public cloud services for customer-facing applications, such as mobile banking or online trading, that require more availability and performance. Retailers often use hybrid cloud deployments to manage their inventory and supply chain data in a private cloud or on-premises environment. They use the public cloud services for e-commerce, marketing, or customer service applications that require more innovation and personalization. You've come so far and learned so much. You learned about modern mainframe computers and how hosting an infrastructure can be on-premises or in the cloud. You explored the steps businesses take to decide, plan, and make the move to the cloud. You learned about different cloud deployment models and the advantages they bring businesses. And finally, you explored some scenarios to better understand when a public, private, or hybrid cloud deployment is appropriate for a business. Now that you've completed this course, you should be able to describe the features of on-premises hosting, identify considerations when moving to the cloud, describe cloud migration plans, steps to deploy to the cloud, and solution optimization. Explain the advantages of public, private, and hybrid cloud solutions. Identify considerations and situations for public, private, and hybrid cloud deployment models. Key points to remember. 1. Large organizations use modern mainframe computers to process large amounts of data and keep information safe and secure. Modern mainframes provide the high processing power, high availability, security, scalability, and integration that today's businesses need. 2. On-premises hosting is an infrastructure model where businesses own and operate the systems, including hardware and software, needed to run business operations. 3. Making the move to the cloud involves choosing the right cloud services. This depends on various factors, including the business's specific needs, scalability of the services to grow, security, and integration with existing hardware and software. 4. When businesses are choosing a cloud provider, they must consider the types of cloud services they will need. They must also consider the cost, reliability, and support the cloud providers offer. 5. A cloud migration plan is critical for a business to have a smooth transition to the cloud. 6. Overall, a move to the cloud involves migrating company data and applications, testing the migrated system, monitoring the cloud infrastructure, decommissioning the on-premises infrastructure, and optimizing the new cloud infrastructure to ensure good performance. 7. It's critical for businesses to monitor metrics and optimize performance to ensure their cloud solution is efficient, reliable, meeting performance goals, and cost-effective. 8. The 4 types of cloud deployment models are public, private, hybrid, and community. 9. A main factor in choosing a public or a private cloud is the level of control and security a business needs over their data and applications. 10. A public cloud offers lower costs, scalability, and flexibility. But the business must share resources and infrastructure with other businesses, which might pose some risks or limitations. 11. A private cloud offers more customization, privacy, and compliance. But it also requires more investment, maintenance, and expertise. 12. A hybrid cloud offers using public and private cloud services together to achieve the best results for a business. It requires careful planning and management to ensure compatibility, security, and performance across different environments.